I just want to read a quote by you talking about the 60s and what it was like. You said, I thought the 60s were great, but for teens, they were also troublesome times. Since I was a teenager dealing with those problems, I chose the songs I sang from gut reaction, such as You Don't Own Me was like an anthem for feminine independence.
That song, it always amazes me because I think although A Party may be the signature song because it was the first,
right.
I am always deeply thankful for You Don't Own Me because in my estimation, it took me out of the bubblegum pop genre.
Sure did.
It also took me out of that, it wasn't actually, you know, a one-song wonder, but it put me in, it made my work a little bit more serious. And I think that was the problem with It's My Party. It wasn't really taken seriously enough because of its genre, its pop essence. And I think the discussion of the lyric, that lyric today is, it's passé.
It sure is.
And it's very much screams 60s. On the other hand, You Don't Own Me screams 70s, 80s.
And it was really the beginning of the feminist movement in this country.
It happened to correlate with that, yes.
Yeah, okay. Another thing in doing the research, I said, I wonder what life was like for Lesley Gore at 16 years old, having all these hits. What was life like?
You have to remember, Mickey, 40-odd years ago, we did not have things like telephone answering machines.
No.
Okay? So anybody, any human being, could pick up a phone and go, could you give me the number of Lesley Gore in Tenafly, New Jersey?
Okay.
So the phone was ringing constantly. They had my address. There were people literally in tents on the front lawn every morning. There was no protection really.
Not like today.
Not like today. As a matter of fact, even disc jockeys would say, "Little Lesley Gore, the sweetie pie from Tenafly." So you know, throngs of people would come to Tenafly, and they go, "Where does Lesley live?" "Oh, make a left at the corner there, and second door on the right." You know,
How did your
everyone
parents like this? Were they a little concerned?
They were a little concerned at first, but they had a pretty flexible feeling about it. They watched carefully, but they allowed the fun to progress, and they were very much a part of it.
Did stardom for you come too young?
I think so. Yeah, I think when it comes that way, that suddenly and that young, it's there are too many. There are too many factors. There's a lot of wonderful things that come with it, and there's a lot of other things that aren't as wonderful. So you really do begin to see the ambivalence in life.
Sure. I guess I was wondering, did she enjoy that? You know?
Well, much of it was wonderful, and but a lot of it was, I think, for example, they would call and say I had to do an Ed Sullivan show in 2 months. Well, that was my cue to start throwing up right then and there. I was very nervous. You know, I had no technique, basically, you know. So someone would say Ed Sullivan, and I'd think to myself, my God, 30 million people watching live, you know, the one thing you think, you're surely going to come out and trip and fall on your face.
Biggest show of its time.
Forget your lyrics. I mean, anything can go wrong on the Ed Sullivan Show.